category 1. Category 2 is anything or like wiring, software, hardware, anything that you need. We did put an RFP out there for rewiring both buildings, new networking, connections, all that stuff. I don't remember everything. We worked with Derek, Dave, Dan, and I put out the bids together. We received no bids. So we have an option, and that is we can solicit bids from different vendors. And it's a little bit different this year than they've done in the past. So I have contacted vendors and asked for a price. I'm hoping that we will be able to bring that information to you in March for approval for that work. What that is the USF is giving $150 per student free discount money. That is good for 4 years. You can spend it all in year 1, or you can spread it out in 4 years. When you apply for it year 1, you get $150 per student that year. If you lose 100 kids next year, it does not go down. If you gain 100 students, it goes up. So, yeah, I know.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So we did start the process to be able to spend this money. We'll get the bids, we'll bring them to you. Whether we get we can do partial work this year, we can do partial work next year. We can spread it out. But we have X amount of dollars to spend in 4 years. So we have started that process, and I will keep you updated.
That's good.
Moving on, public comment.
No, we have one more.
What's that?
I post the fall sports.
You didn't
Oh.
have that on your agenda?
Yeah, it's on the agenda, isn't it?
No.
It isn't?
No.
Well, then I should have added
It's like
something.
we can't hire you.
Yeah. The reason we're gonna do this, if any of you heard, Martin Mazan has decided to retire from football. He's been here for how many years, Tim, coaching?
19 or 20.
20 years, and so our congratulations go to Mark, and good luck in his next, whatever he's going to do. So that prompted us, we should start looking at our sports at the end of each season. And there's a couple reasons for this. Number one, we would like to secure a football coach and all the assistants, and then also add our other fall sports. And the reason I'd like to do this is that normally your coaches, after the season, they start building for next year already. So I'll use volleyball, for instance. They're gonna probably have summer camps, maybe some JO programs. Football would have some weight training, maybe some camps. And it's not fair for a coach for them to do all this work and then in the fall say, oh, we're not gonna hire you. So this way, if we hire right after each sport, then they know that they have this commitment for another year. So we're a little bit late on the fall sport, but we'll do this immediately following the winter sports and then immediately following the spring sports. So then it isn't gonna come to the board in one lump sum, it's gonna come in pieces. So what I'd like to post now would be head varsity football coach, 2 assistant varsity football coaches. It's a little different than on your sheet. So then that would eliminate the junior varsity coach. And then 2 junior high football coaches, a volleyball varsity head coach, a volleyball assistant coach, a junior high girls basketball coach for 7th and 8th grade. So the number of coaches are the same, they're just gonna be worded a little bit different. So I'd like to go ahead and post that, and then we have a committee already formed. There'd be 5 people on the committee. One from, Mary Beth would be from the extracurricular committee, Dan and Tim from Besmer, and Mark Lane and Kathy Shamian from Wakefield, to particularly concentrate on the football because that's a shared program. So I need a motion to go ahead and post those and move forward with hiring.
Make that motion.
Motion by Deb,
Second.
support by Sherry. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Now we can move on to public comment. Mr. McDonald.
Yeah, my
5
question
minutes.
is, you, formed the committee for caring and sharing. At this time, we should maybe also form a committee with, most likely wait for Marnesco for looking at consolidation, seeing that the state's not staying neutral no more. And Mike Flanagan and them are going to do a push with this, they're gonna hire a consultant to come along and push at certain districts to talk about this and help nudge them along with this. And I got this from downstate. So I know where they're coming from, I know where I'm coming from, and it's gonna happen. So it's time to start looking at this and finding out what it is. The state's not gonna look, the next 6 years, we're gonna, 2020, before we bottom out losing students countywide, and that 6 buildings keep running. You can't, they can't, you can't afford it, they can't afford it, they can't do it, you can't feed buildings with electricity, heat, run school buses, do this, that, and take away from the education, get rid of age, do this and that. It doesn't work that way. You need to get the teachers, you need to get the classes in here, we need to expand, but the only way to do it is start consolidating and get rid of some of these buildings. So we gotta think about it, and they're gonna work on it. And they're staying in contact with me.
Are you done? Thank you, Bill. Any other couple of public comment?
Yes, in talking about the fall sports and that, coaches, could you put cross-country on there as well? I think that, before,
That's not a Schedule B.
oh, I didn't know.
No.
It is a combined effort with,
We have,
all the sports,
Tim, have we moved forward on the
I thought-
consolidation with, or the co-op?
That's,
The
that's
co-op.
Wakefield has that program,
Okay.
so that,
did they,
that would be.
Yeah, they're the
They
whole school.
hosted, yes.
okay.
Yeah, that's their focus.
And we are
I didn't
moving
know.
forward on that co-op program at Wakefield.
Correct, yes.
Thank you.
When does that have to be approved, or we already approved it, to move forward to sign contracts, to send this stuff to state? Do we have to send something to?
There's a form.
There's
Yeah.
a form that has to be done
Yeah.
this spring.
I thought it was already, I thought it
I
was
thought
done
we- I
in the
thought we
fall
did it in the
last year for
fall
this
of
coming
last
year,
year.
yeah.
How often do you have to do it for?
Every year.
Three.
Oh, every 3 years?
Every 3 years.
Three
Oh,
years.
okay.
Any other public comment? Okay, we go down to administrative reports. Mrs. Hanson, front and center.
Mr. France is already harassing me to be quick, so, some of the things Mrs. Hellman already talked to you about, but some of the things that I just wanted to say is we are very proud to at our school. Mr. Radovich already talked about how great, our scores were. We at the Washington School scored, 42 in the state, in the elementary schools, out of 660 schools. So we scored at 42, and you get special recognition if you score in the top 25. So that's our hope for the next time this comes around, that we'll be in that top 25. One of the big things that we did in January was our second STAR testing, which is where the kids go for reading and math. And it's on the computers, it's on the iPads, it's on the Chromebooks, and they take the test online. And what it does is it compares how they did from the beginning of the year. And I was very proud of our students with the gains that they made from the beginning of the year to the middle of the year. We are seeing some great improvements. Overall, the classes are showing at least 6 months to a year of improvement from the beginning of the year. So that's what we want to keep the kids on, is getting those test scores up. One of the big things that we are focusing on with this though too is kids when they're on computers tend to like to speed. And that's one of the things that we're really trying to teach them on this test to get ready for the state test, is really take your time and do what you need to. The nice thing about this test is if you can give it to them a second time. So if you know they sped through and did 40-some questions in 5 minutes, you can make sure that they do it again. We won't have that option when the state test comes around. So that's one of the things that we really want to make sure is that they're taking their time, but they did very, very well. Star Lab that Mrs. Hellman talked about is actually going to be showing up at our school next week. Some of you who had children in our school have seen this before. It's a huge inflatable dome, and it has discs that come with constellations, so the kids can look at the nighttime sky. They take off their shoes and they go in with their socks, and it's all dark, and they can look at what the constellations are like. We also go into some things that deal with mythology and how some of the constellations got their names. But there's also other discs that have, for instance, a cell, and it shows the different parts of a cell. So there's science things in there. There's many different options. So it's looking like we'll probably have that for at least 3 weeks, and that's going to be coming next week. Our PTO auction is the 21st. We hope that everybody can come to that. Our PTO has done wondrous things for us. We have where the teachers have document cameras now, and for those of you who don't know what they are, the days of the overheads are over. You can put your book right underneath or any papers that you have, and it automatically just goes right up on a screen. The teachers have projectors which are hooked up to their laptops, and what's awesome is, for instance, like our kindergarten class who have their iPads, they can do work on that. The work gets sent to Mrs. Beals or Mrs. Delene's laptop, and it can be projected so the kids can look at each other's work on that too. So we got the projectors. So this year, if anybody can come, it's a good time and it's lots of fun. They also are cleaning our curtains from our stage, which is going to cost them about $1,000 from our PTO. They're doing that. They are looking at the flags in the building and going to look at purchasing new flags for any of the flags that are looking like they need a little bit of help. So they do a lot for us. And we have parent-teacher conferences coming up on the 24th, and then kindergarten open house on the 27th of March. So March is kind of a busy time. I don't know if anybody has any other questions for me. Is it quick enough?
The parent-teacher conference is also at the high school too,
Yes.
which is a change.
Year's going by fast. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Business manager, Mr. Vanderwilden.
I'm just gonna report about what happened today. We had an event today called Life Quest. It was an event where we brought the kids from the 9 through 12th graders from Ironwood, Wakefield, Marinesco, and Bessemer together at Cogibbon Community College. This was sponsored or took place because of a donation from the Range Suicide Prevention Committee, which is pretty much Pat Gallinoff. Gave us all, our schools, $1,000, and we decided to pool that money together and bring in some speakers. So we had Hayden Lovin come from Minnesota, and he talked about his experiences in being homeschooled and moving from a homeschooling position into a public school, and how he was bullied because he was so different, and how he got to the point where he was going to commit suicide, and he, at that point, changed his life. And he had a really strong message with kids about looking at the good things in life. And the main theme for the day was how to find good in all the evil that's around us. And then Tim Lynott came. He was a Wakefield resident, and his brother committed suicide, and he talked about how suicide not only affects the ripple effect of suicide, and that his message was that mental health shouldn't be looked at as a stigma. People should reach out for help, and that others should reach out to help those with mental health. And then we had Peter Loth speak, and he was a Holocaust survivor. He was in Stuttgart death camps, and his story was about how he witnessed death every day, and how he found forgiveness, how to find forgiveness and all that. How he, after being freed or liberated from the death camps, more discrimination was brought his way because he was Polish, living in Russia, and the KBG was looking for these people, and his twin sister was killed by the KBG in front of him. He then moved to the United States, where his mother, his biological mother, he finally was able to meet up with his biological mother, and she had fallen in love with a U.S. soldier who was black. So he was living in the South in a mixed family, racial family, and how that caused discrimination and bullying towards him. And his message was, through all this, we wrapped it up. Through all this evil that I've witnessed in my life, I always found goodness. I always found someone that was willing to stand up for me and help me. And he said there were so many people that came through to help him make it to where he is today. And was his message. Then Pastor Todd talked, but the overall message today was we wanted the kids to get the message that they're valued, that they're loved, and that there is good in the world, even though we're seeing so much evil throughout the world at this time. And that to step up and stop it, and to stop the cyberbullying and those messages when you see it happening on the social networks, to do something about it. Just don't sit back and be a bystander. I think it was a really excellent program for the kids. I think they gained a lot. I would have to say that our food service did an awesome job of providing lunch for these 500 kids, not just us, but the Wakefield and Marinesco and Ironwood also provided, you know, the kids went through lunch. DHS, Department of Human Services was there, the Community Mental Health was there, Dove was there, Michigan State Police were there, Cookevik Sheriff's Department was there, the Fostering Parents Group was there, Holiday gas stations donated some water, Pepsi donated sodas and things for us, so we had a lot of support, and it was an awesome experience for our kids.
I'm only disappointed the board members weren't invited.
I'm sorry.
Awesome day.
It was,
Wish
we
could
had
be
it in the,
involved.
it was publicized quite a bit.
Yeah.
Excellent. Mr. France, you
Yeah.
should have invited the board. We
That
are
wasn't
looking
my
forward to
job.
eating
You're
again.
invited to lunch every day.
Mr. Friends,
Food service is going well, not much to talk about. Activities are slowing down. We have one regular season game left for boys basketball is March 5th against Ewan here. The girls start their tournament on March 2nd in Waters Meet. They play Crystal Falls at 5:30 on Monday, March 2nd. And the boys tournament is gonna be held at Wakefield, that's March 9th. The boys play at 5:30 against Republic Michigan. Everything else is waiting for draft.
our food supply as well.
Our food supplies are good.
And I did hear
Yeah,
the.
didn't we, your freezer is full or something, I heard?
Oh, yeah, I'm a little full.
Do you need, should we take a picture of that, maybe
Yeah.
and post, put it on our website?
Okay, any other serious questions?
I also heard that between Ironwood, Wakefield, and Besmer, our subs went first today, our sub sandwiches.
Mary will give me heck for that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Pancake
Oh, yeah, we did a pancake breakfast
Oh, yeah.
for, athletics on Sunday. It was very successful, we did very well, so. He just based some of the bills that we have, and so we should profit around 1,500 to help to buy supplies and the stuff we need.